Hey guys, so Yami here, and I'm going through Ancient Pyramid on normal, hard, and nightmare as people are heading into the dungeon and whatnot and getting the unlock for it. I figured I'd put out this guide for you. So at the start of the fight, it's standard. He'll attack someone. He has a big bash. It hurts a lot. It's a lot of earth damage and physical damage. So run, earth resistance or just have high physical to negate the damage that it's popping out. Um, when he transitions to his second phase, he'll add some new mechanics. You got this beam here, which heals him. You want to stand in front of it to make sure it doesn't heal him. He's got a giant laser. Don't stand in that either. Occasionally, he'll throw out, a petrification gaze. You don't want to be in that eternity zone, essentially. He's got that big AoE. If you're in overlap, you're dead. Um, it hurts you a lot when you get petrified and put in that. He's got meteor assault. As soon as the circle comes up, you want to be moving to get out of that. He will throw out poison pools, which does a lot of damage. It'll chunk through your armor and just be a nuisance and slow you down as well. So make sure you're getting out of that as soon as possible to help out your healer. I recommend having a priest for this. This is a rough fight. I also recommend having a tank to keep Osiris on him and to ensure that he can face the beam away. As you saw, I got petrified and took the big old circle. Don't want to do that. So that is every mechanic on normal. Um, as you can see, it's a lot of overlapping mechanics all at once. So in order to, successfully go through, ensure that you're doing the mechanics as they're happening. It's a lot of movement, a lot of healing. Um, I'm popping potions and having, you know, two priests, and it's still pretty hurtful. But that is the entirety of the fight on normal. Next, we're going to get up into hard. Um, Similar fight. He has more health, does more damage. In this one, I have a tank, so you can see that. There is some DPS checks required. You want to be making sure you're throwing out the damage. So you want to have your enchants. You want to have your cards if you are lucky enough to get the right ones. You want to have refinements. You want to have your gear upgraded. Uh, so there's not really much difference on hard. The same mechanics. They're just hitting harder. Uh, so you know, as long as you're doing the mechanics and stopping the beam from touching him, which will heal him. The more he's healed, the closer to enrage you get, because that's just more damage you have to deal to get him killed. His stone drop thing there, it will usually always be three. So you want to get out of that. For range DPS, I recommend being as far away from him as possible. So max range on your abilities just to get out of meteor assault. Getting out of that is probably going to help out a lot. It's a lot of damage. It stuns for a little bit. If you were lucky enough to have stun resistance cards, that will help you out here. If you're watching this and you're level 50 and you haven't done Nightmare yet, I recommend having your pet, with healing or just anything to help you in damage or even defenses. Uh, at 50, you get your pets, so that might help push people into beating Nightmare. I don't know. I haven't done it successfully. But as we're coming up near the end of the fight, as you can see, all these mechanics are overlapping. one after another. You got the crystal on top of the poison, on top of, the beam that heals him. It's a lot of damage, and it really incentivizes doing the mechanics as opposed to the other dungeons, which you can somewhat bypass. So as long as you're doing mechanics, the clear is easy even without a healer. So just ensure that you're doing mechanics, and you'll be successful. Now we're heading to Nightmare. This is where the biggest differences are. He's got 10 more bars of health, and we get the enraged timer. His petrifying gauge, his bash, a lot of his abilities don't have indicators anymore. As you saw, my tank took a bash and immediately fell over. So again, incentivize that your gear is as upgraded as you could possibly get it, at least defensive wise. And if you're a DPS, make sure it's up there DPS wise. Supports, if you're a pure support priest, or I recommend ensuring that you're capable of pushing out your heals, so haste, cooldown, all of that. Like I said, he has no indicators for a lot of his abilities anymore. If he can break petrification, do that. Um, as you can see, he's restoring health without beating at the halfway point. You need to be blocking that. If you don't block it, he will heal, enrage, and you'll die. He will also get bigger, indicating that he has more attack range, more damage. So ensure that you're accounting for that. His attacks also appear when I had made my attempts to overlap more. He'll throw out more poison. You got, the dark way here. So again, ensure you're doing mechanics. That is the very key part of this boss, is doing mechanics and pumping out as much damage as you can. If you don't, you'll probably see it here in a little bit. He will enrage in just one shot. Standard with every other boss. They all have an enrage timer if you're not meeting the DPS check. Try not to touch the sides of the arena. I've seen party members just instantly die doing that. So that firewall that you see, don't touch that. I don't know if it's actuary or it was just a stroke of luck that they died near it or what have you. But don't let him heal. Don't get hit by mechanics like I am. Some of them are too fast. You won't be able to get out of them with the move speed you have. A pet can resolve that. If you're at 50 and you have it. So this is him becoming super enraged. This is where the one shots happen. He has his normal rage, and then you got the super rage. But that's the entire dungeon on normal, hard, and nightmare. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.